This alarm signals the arrival of a trauma patient at the Royal Brisbane and Women's Hospital, where often catastrophic cases are brought to this room.
I've been working in the ED for 10 years now. Gosh, I wouldn't remember the first time that I saw a scooter crash, but I definitely know we're seeing an increase in presentations with the e-scooter accidents. It can definitely be confronting when you're not used to it.
We meet nurse Lindley Johnson on a busy shift between patients. She specialises in brain injuries.
How often are you seeing people in here who've stacked it on a scooter?
Maybe sometimes 2 a day. That doesn't sound like much, but in a busy ED centre, it's resource heavy for the resus staff. These patients take, say, probably 1 senior doctor and maybe 3 nurses away from seeing other people who need resuscitation and who are critically unwell.
Rush hour is when you really notice the popularity of electric scooters and bikes and the questionable behaviour of some riders. Doubling, no helmets, riding where they shouldn't, sometimes all of the above. Police have conducted several crackdowns, but many offenders claim they don't know the rules.
You must wear a helmet, you can't carry a passenger.
4 Queenslanders have died after e-scooter crashes this year alone.
Do you think something's got to give?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's not enough safety around e-scooters. Depending on the injury, it can be a lengthy road to recovery.
So Gav, step in for me.
A fractured skull and a severed artery led Gavin Bolt to Dr. David Hendry.
So we're looking at the messages from your feet to your brain, your ears and eyes, making sure they're all coordinating really well.
He suffers periodic amnesia, vision issues and cognitive fatigue.
And try and line the X up with the centre of the target, okay?
Mentally, I feel the same, but there's obviously something, since it knows, or it can at least see it.
The 12-year-old crashed his e-scooter a year ago and regrets not wearing a helmet.
What's the last thing that you remember about coming off your scooter?
Having a wobble and hitting a pothole, I think.
And then what was your first memory after that?
Waking up in a pretty dark area with a army clock on the wall.
Gavin had been flown from his home on the Sunshine Coast to the Children's Hospital in Brisbane, where they didn't expect him to survive.
When we got to Children's Hospital in Brisbane, my heart dropped into my stomach and I just thought, I thought he had already passed. I thought he was already dead. And that was really sobering, yeah.
So Gav, with this test, what's going to happen is...
Gavin's story is part of a confronting trend spelled out by Queensland hospital data. The number of emergency presentations has gone up year on year since day one. So how did we get here?
Brisbane was the first city in Australia to adopt e-scooters after the City Council approved the rollout of these Lime-branded machines in 2018.
That initial trial was a hit. People enjoyed the fun, accessible and environmentally friendly transport, and since then the scene has exploded, with more contracts and new brands coming in.
It started with one area, but it has become part of our society to avoid the challenges of traffic in bigger cities.
Here in Queensland, the rules are cumbersome. Children as young as 12 can ride e-scooters and bikes under adult supervision. The devices are allowed on some roads, plus bike paths and shared footpaths, subject to varied speed limits. But many privately owned and imported machines are capable of going well over the permitted top speed of 25 kilometres per hour.
He has pain on the right side.
Professor Michael Schetz runs the world-renowned Jamison Trauma Institute.
We started it, well, we as a clinician, we saw the first cases in our morning meetings, 2018. I said, well, there's maybe something coming, look into it.
They started asking just who was ending up in the ED and found it was more often riders on privately owned e-scooters rather than hired ones, and more than 1/3 were travelling over 25 kilometres an hour when they crashed.
If we really would like to continuously inform government, insurance companies, the users, industry about it, we need ongoing surveillance. Otherwise, you're sailing in the fog without a compass.
A month ago, the Queensland Government kicked off a parliamentary inquiry looking into everything from safety to fire prevention, waste and legislation gaps, with a committee report due next March.
Do you feel that pressure? You know, because I mean, this is serious injuries, this is potential deaths.
Well, absolutely. Every single one of these instances has a massive impact on a family, on the individual who's impacted. In fact, one of my own constituents was injured on the footpath behind me. There's clear community concern about the current framework. Our focus is on trying to find a way forward that is able to be implemented.
Road safety advocates want to see the minimum age raised from 12 to 16 and full face helmets for private riders. As for rental scooters like these, they want to see those swapped to models that are sit-down only.
Did you feel like you were out of your depth when you jumped on that scooter?
Definitely. I know Mom's been like somewhat traumatized by this. So it's not just you. There's a big group of people too.
That same week that Gavin was in his accident, 2 other little boys were in accidents on e-scooters as well, and both of them passed away. They both died. And I think about those mothers all the time. So the gratitude is overwhelming, which is why we're doing this, because we need to get the laws changed, bring awareness to parents and to distributors, and hopefully have a few more safety precautions in place.
I firmly believe these devices have a place in our mobility solutions. The question is, how do we deliver that in a safe way?
In other states, the rules around e-scooters remain haphazard. WA's launched its own safety inquiry following the death of a Perth man last month, while New South Wales is looking to legalise privately owned scooters limited to 20 kilometres per hour. And in Melbourne, while rental e-scooters are banned from CBD streets, private ones remain legal.
What do you think needs to change?
12 is obviously way too young, and all the rest of the states are 16, so just a minimal increase to what the states have created as a standard of safety, at least. I just hope that whoever it is that is sitting behind the desk when these decisions are made, they think about it as if they were going to be affected and how it would impact their lives, and to make the rules according to it being impactful to them. So to make it personal, because that's where it is for us. It's very personal, it's very daily.